What can I do? What can I do when I'm stuck inside you? This set of ice and fire, what blood red death, lust and desire, smell of life.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Whole Damn Enchilada Podcast back once again. Ryan Inman, Rick Paulton. Got it right this time. How about that? Here to eventually, we're going to talk some Twilight Zone season 1. We're gonna. What do you got there? You got the same brew you've been drinking? Found some more of them?
Yeah, they restocked my local grocery.
Yeah, that is a good one.
With this wonderful stuff that you got to try finally at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was a Super Bowl. It was a good time.
Not a paid advertisement.
It'd be
so
nice
good.
if it was, though, right?
This is just so good that I have to put it over.
Right on, man. Right on. So we decided that a couple weeks ago when we couldn't figure out what to talk about. Of course, I always come up with ideas late. So after watching, hey, what's up, Karen? Bill, what's up? The movie is actually the 29th, Bill. 29th of February. And yeah. And was it you that asked me about a 4X shirt? 4 to 5X shirt? I think it was. If it was, Eddie is supposed to have one for me for you when I get there. But that's on the 29th. And if you look at the ticker below, I've been doing this. Awesome, dude. No problem. So I've been doing this where, some announcements of the show, what's going on in the future. So just follow that on the ticker. It'll talk about, and hopefully the dates are right because I screwed it up last time. Some things that are coming up. But so Ryan is a Twilight Zone savant. We found that out when we were, how did that come out? During a trivia episode.
That happened when I had to teach the handsome diner guy a little lesson.
And you know what? I don't know if I told you, but I went back, re-listened to the show because I wanted to make sure I got the scores right, and I took away the Twilight Zone questions. You still won. Yeah. All right, so that was awesome. It was close. It was like 1 or 2 if you did by 1 or 2 if you didn't count the Twilight Zone episodes, 3 if you did. Yeah. Because you actually did get 2 of those wrong.
I did.
But they were a little tricky.
I didn't understand the format of the
I think that's what it was. But during that contest, I always knew Ryan was a giant Twilight Zone fan. I had no idea the depth of his knowledge, and he's just rattling off, oh, that episode's called this, and it has this guy in it, and this guy, and I was like, Jesus Christ. And I almost felt bad for including those questions at that point. So during that time, we figured out that Ryan is, really knows his shit about Twilight Zone. And then during the 83 Year in Horror episode, we reviewed the movie, right?
1983, yeah.
So after watching, you're right, Karen, there's nothing like Twilight Zone, which I didn't really know. So we watched it at 83. I was catching up on movies in 83, and I knew Ryan would talk about the Twilight Zone episode because I know he's a huge fan. He's used clips of it in his music and, things like that, which I was going to try to get a new video with one of your songs. I didn't get a chance to do it. It would have been cool, but we'll save that. There's 6 more seasons, right?
4 more.
Okay. So after watching that, I was talking to Ryan about the movie and he was like, oh, well, you got to see the real version of this skit and this one. And so I went back and I watched them and I got hooked. So since then, I've been watching season 1 episode by episode. And I have pretty much completed season 1. There was a couple episodes I missed because I didn't realize there was 36 of them. And I thought I was done at like 20. But I still got most of them in. So when we had no idea for a show, after the show, I came up with the idea. I said, well, we should just do a Twilight Zone episode because you won't need to prepare for it. We can do it on the fly at any time. Yep. And here we are.
The only notes I have are my rankings because I ranked the top and bottom.
Top and bottom. Yeah, you got to do your top and bottom 5 gimmick.
Oh, I cheated though on this one. Yeah. I couldn't do a top 5 of season 1 because this season is just stacked.
Yeah. I don't have a bottom 5. I got a bottom 1. There was only one episode I didn't like.
I got a bottom 5.
And okay. I'm sorry. Karen says, my favorite are the Monsters Are Due on Maple Street. That is tied for the highest rated episode.
Yeah, we'll definitely be discussing that one in detail today.
Okay, cool. And so I got the IMDb rankings, and of course that's not the end all be all, but that's a good reference because people vote on that, you know, and you know it gives a good idea of what the masses thought. So we'll talk about like some of the highest rated episodes, and we'll ask Ryan some questions about different things, and just kind of freestyle this. So what do you think that I gave it away? That's one of the highest rated episodes. What do you think the other one was?
Time Enough at Last.
Time Enough at Last. They both got 8.9s.
8.9s. I'm surprised they didn't crack 9s.
No, the series as a whole is rated 9.1, but the highest rated episode was 8.9, and the lowest rated episode was a 6.1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There was a couple that were in the 6s. Most of them were in the 8s.
Yeah.
There was that one I just watched was the 6.6. That was a pretty good episode too.
It was actually really tough for me to come up with a bottom 5. Like there was 4 for sure that made it, but it was really tough to get a 5th one in there.
I wonder if the other 3 that are on your list that since I don't have a bottom 5 are ones that I skipped. That I didn't watch because I didn't see any that were bad. The only one I seen that was kind of bad was the lowest rated episode.
Oh, okay.
I didn't dig that one at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tough, man, getting that 5th one in there because I do like some of it. Yes. But overall, you know, and I
didn't hate any of them.
No.
You know, don't get me wrong.
I hate one of these.
There's one that I very much dislike.
There's one that I really dislike, and
I don't think I'll ever watch again.
There's one in the running for the worst episode of the entire series, actually, in season 1, but there's only one that's that bad.
I wonder if it is the worst rated episode of the season. Guys, jump in with your comments and talk about what's your favorite, which ones you like, comment on what we're talking about, and of course share the page and share this stuff so we can get some more people in.
I want to do this one backwards, though. I want to do the bottom ones first, if that's okay with you.
Right on.
Get the bad out of the way.
I was going to suggest that anyway. I was going to say let's start off with your bottom 5, and then we'll kind of see how much we talk about each of them. You know.
Okay. Hopefully, not too much.
Karen says the Carol Burnett one was awful.
Oh, that's called Cavender is Coming, and that's in season 3.
There you go. And if I'm not mistaken, that was a oh man, did Rod Serling said that it was the worst episode he wrote? He had something to say about it. I don't remember exactly.
It was the worst episode of the entire series, hands down, in my opinion. And it's also kind of a remake of one of the episodes of this season, which is my least favorite. We'll get to that.
Oh, okay, so your least favorite is not my least favorite. I can tell.
And it was actually supposed to be almost like a crossover pilot for a Carol Burnett vehicle.
Oh, wow.
That never came to fruition.
So right before we get into this, though, I've been so busy, man. I got a million things going on. You know, I wanted to do some more detailed notes and bring up some of the trivias and things, which, like I said, great thing we're doing this because we can get through a show without me really being on my game tonight. I did the Horror Shed podcast. I did that yesterday for those guys. I hosted their thing, their interview. Should come out on Monday. But where was it? I seen something. And I got it written down somewhere. Nowhere handy. But here it is. The pilot episode was supposed to be an episode called The Happy Place. Are you familiar with this?
I am.
Did it ever come out?
No.
Okay. So I guess it doesn't matter. I guess it was too much for them then, and I thought that there might be like on the DVDs, it might be like a hidden thing or something. And I was kind of hoping.
No.
All right. Okay, so we'll just jump in with your bottom 5. Are we going to go 5 to 1?
Yeah. Well, I'll save the least favorite for last.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Number 5, and this was really tough for me because I don't really even dislike this episode, but I had to do 5.
Yeah, because it's your gimmick.
And
the 5 up, 5 down.
And we only spoke for a few minutes before it started, but we didn't give nothing away. But it's actually one of the ones you mentioned, and my fifth least favorite is actually the 16 millimeter shrine.
Really? Oh wow,
yeah.
I like that one a lot. Because when I was trying to make my top 5, I'm like, all right, that's on it, that's on it, that's on it, that's on it. Oh, we're 5 episodes in. That's on it, that's on it. You know, like, so I couldn't do it. But that was, I like that one a lot.
I don't, like I said, I don't even really dislike it all that much. Just something had to get in there, and it was really tough putting it there. Ida Lupino was great in it, and she actually went on, little tidbit here, and I won't say what episode or what season because we'll do it later. She became the first female to later on direct a Twilight Zone episode.
Oh, interesting.
The star of this one, yes, Ida Lupino.
Right on. Bill and Karen, yes, that's the name of that episode with Shatner. That was also one of the episodes that were in the movie.
Nightmare
Terror at 30,000.
Yeah, that's season 5.
Yeah,
that's a ways away.
Yeah,
we'll be talking about Bill Shatner in a different episode come our season 2 episode. So.
There you go. Yeah, I was gonna say I think he did more than one.
Yeah. So yeah, number 5 was 16 millimeter shrine, and it's it sucks I had to put it there, but somebody had to make it.
Yeah.
My fourth least favorite is the Mighty Casey.
That was the lowest rated episode.
Yeah,
and I didn't like it.
I have a soft spot for baseball,
and I was gonna say, I know you're a giant baseball guy, so I was wondering what you thought about this one.
I'm also a huge Jack Warden fan who plays the coach. I love him, and we're going to talk about him in a different episode later too.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But the guy who played Casey, fun fact, Robert Sorrells was his name. He went. I don't know if he's still alive. I think he's dead now because he'd be really old. But he, about 20 years ago, walked into a bar in Los Angeles and just like shot somebody to death out of nowhere and was put in prison. And he was like in his 70s or something.
See, and these things that you're talking about are the things I was trying to get out, and have written down, but I didn't even need to, so we're good.
Yeah. Robert Sorrells was his name, and he played in a bunch of old westerns, and he got drunk at a bar and somebody, like, I guess, got in a verbal argument with another gentleman, and he left and came back with a gun. Is like, who wants to fuck with the cowboy now? And just started shooting the place up.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He killed a guy.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, that's a wild one. So yeah,
that one was rated 6.1. It was the lowest rated on IMDb.
And rightfully so. Again, I have a soft spot for baseball, but it's not good.
No, I didn't like that one.
My third least favorite is one you just talked about with me before we went on 2, and that's The Big Tall Wish.
Okay. That one was rated 6.6, but I really liked that one.
I love Ivan Dixon. He's a great actor. And this was actually very ballsy. This is 1960 when this one came out, because the season started in 59, but it was 60 by the time this one aired. I believe it was the first anthology TV show to have a black lead in the role.
And pretty much a black-dominated cast.
Yes.
I mean, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like five of the cast members were black. I think only 2 of the main people they showed, the other fighter and the reporter that came in the locker room.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a shame that it was not very good, at least in my estimation. And I think popular opinion doesn't like this episode either, but it was still
6.6. So it was the second lowest.
It was still a landmark episode for what Serling went out to do. Right, but quality wise, it's not good.
So real quick though, so Rod Serling, he wrote all of these. He directed some. I mean, this is like
never
all
directed.
His deal. Oh, he didn't direct. Okay, but he was like the guy though. Like was he running the show, or how much was he involved? Is basically
there were 156 episodes in the whole series, and I believe he wrote 93 of them.
Okay,
I think that's the magic number. It's definitely lower than 100, and it's higher than 90. It's in the 90s. I think it's 90. It's 92 or 93. Right. So he wrote well more than half of them, and he had so much input. He was basically like the showrunner.
Right on.
So he had full control.
And that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was obviously would have been his idea to cast the black guy in the role.
Oh, 100%.
You know, and
100%. And also, scripts from other writers that got through didn't get in without his approval.
Right.
So he only chose stories from like Charles Beaumont and Richard Matheson were two other big time writers that wrote multiple episodes. Friends of his.
And what did Rod Serling do before Twilight Zone? Do you know?
Wrote. Was a writer. Always was a writer. And prior to that was Military Man, which there's a lot of military episodes in this series too.
Which I'm sure, you write what you know. You write things that you experience. So we're on your, what was it, your second least favorite?
And this is where it's a big jump. The worst two are by far the worst two.
Okay.
And my second least favorite is one called The Chaser.
I missed that one, so I can't speak to if it being bad.
Lucky you.
I'm gonna go back and watch it just because I gotta see them all.
It's really bad. It's really bad. It's basically just a Cupid story. It's like a Cupid thing. It's just bad.
And there's another one that was rated in the 6s. I'm gonna see if it's your first favorite. Or least favorite, rather. And I didn't watch this one.
Let's just get it out of the way. My least favorite of season 1 and one of my probably bottom 5 for the whole series is Mr. Beavis.
Okay. That one I didn't see either.
Very lucky you.
The one I was referring to that scored real low on the IMDb, it was like a 6.6, was called The Fever.
I like that one.
But you were real big into gambling back in the day.
Well,
and I know that had something to do with it.
Well, that episode plays into the addiction of gambling and at its core. And I've known a lot of people that were compulsively addicted to gambling. And it's called The Fever, and it gets a hold of you. So, like, maybe a lot of people, especially small town folks that don't really, there's no casinos, no, this and that, no online. Well, there's online betting anywhere now.
Yeah.
Probably can't relate to that episode, but I can.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't see it. I wanted to go back and watch it because I wanted to watch the worst ones because I knew you'd have a bottom 5. And I was about to watch that one, but then that's when I seen the Casey one, and I was like, well, that one's worse, so I'll watch that one.
Yeah. Well,
and then I didn't get back to that one.
Well, I'm a big fat cheater, and I was supposed to do a top 5.
Yeah, what do you got? A top 15?
What's the number? What's our magic number on
13?
That's right.
I said 15 like sarcastically, figuring you did like an extra 2 or 3.
Well, I
basically did 15. That's great.
Well, I figured if I did a top 13 and then a bottom 5, that's 18, which is half the episodes.
There you go. So half of them will be brought up at least.
Right. Well, we brought up other ones too.
Yeah.
And I actually do. No, I won't bring this up. We'll wait till the end.
Okay. I was about to say, what was I going to ask you that I said wait, but I already did. We already talked about it.
I don't know.
No, I was going to ask you what you thought the worst one was, and obviously you had your list. It was the Casey one.
Yeah, Mr. Beavis is my least favorite. I would have thought that one or The Chaser would have been the lowest.
What that one had as a on the old list of Rooney here. What it got? So go ahead with your 13th favorite episode. We're going from 13 to 1, and. And let me know what that one is while I'm looking for this.
And before, I really dive in head first here, if an episode doesn't make my top 13, it doesn't mean that I don't like it. There are just so many.
Yeah, it's we already expanded from 5 to 13. We can do the whole thing.
So many fucking bangers in this season.
Right.
Like, this season is just on fire. Season 2 is pretty close in terms of quality, but overall quality, season 1 is probably the best.
Right on. And for the record, Mr. Beavis got a 6.7, and The Chaser got 6.9. 2 of the lower scored episodes.
Yeah. Ugh. That's way too high. So, all right, coming in at number 13, and man, a lot of people have this one in their top couple, and I still really like it, but there's more I like more, and it's going to be Mirror Image.
Mirror Image. I like that one.
Yeah,
that was the one. See, and what's crazy is I just watched most of these in the last week. Ryan probably hasn't seen them in years, and he's going to know them better than me.
Mirror Image is the one with the absolutely beautiful and talented Vera Miles right before she did Psycho. She did this episode.
Oh, that was the girl from Psycho. Her name was Millicent, and
Millicent Barnes. Very good.
Okay, cool. Well, I only know that, like I said, because I just watched it. I didn't realize that was she was the girl in Psycho 1 and 2.
Vera Miles.
Yeah. Right on. Wow, I didn't realize that. She looked a lot better in this.
I like the episode. Yeah. She shot this one right before she did Psycho. Right.
I don't know. For some reason, she looked better to me.
Now, a lot of people have this episode sky high, in the tippy top, and I can't go with that because it's still a pretty simple concept, and I don't really think because some of these episodes are just so socially relevant and have a very deep meaning to them. Mm-hmm. This one doesn't, but it's still a very cool little story and enjoyable, and the twist is cool at the end. Yeah. So I have it at 13, which some people might think it's low. I don't.
Well, that's about where I'd have it.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I liked it, though.
You still have some to go, though.
Oh, yeah. There's some that I missed, yeah.
All right.
But according to you, 2 out of the 4 or 5 I missed were bad anyways.
You missed a couple bangers, though.
Yeah. Right on.
We'll get there.
Okay. So number 12. What do you got at number 12?
Number 12 is one nobody ever talks about, and that's The Four of Us Are Dying.
I liked it.
I love it, dude. It feels like a David Lynch thing from 1950s. It's like a dark, twisted mob story or something, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Oh, I love it.
David Lynch. That's a good comparison for that.
Yeah.
You know,
like a big David Lynch feel to it.
Yeah.
I love the glitzy lights of the big, city. There's lots of stuff going on in that scene with Beverly Garland. Fucking great, man. Way out Johnny Foster. You cry? I got a room full of buckets, just
yeah.
Dude,
I mean, the thing in this series is the acting is so good. The acting is so good. The shots are so good. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing.
That scene in particular, though, it might be one of the more well acted, just straight scenes in the whole series.
It's crazy how well all these hold up even today. The way they look. I mean, it doesn't look like I'm watching TV from 65 years ago.
No. Not at all. And it's legit 65 years, 1959, Yeah. So, yeah, that Four of Us Are Dying is my number 12. Little snippet, little spoiler, not really a spoiler. That is one of the samples from my band's first album comes from this episode.
Yeah, nice.
Verge, you got me wrong, Verge. All right, number 11, I have another one that I don't think is talked about nearly enough, and that's Third from the Sun.
I like that one
with Fritz Weaver.
And you know what? With that episode, I don't know why. I mean, I know Earth is the third planet from the sun, but I still there were so many things that should have told me they're not on Earth, including the name of the freaking episode, and then the phone looked kind of different.
Yeah,
but, it's the 50s and they like different things.
Yeah, it could be in the future. Yeah.
Well, I didn't think it was in the future. I just they had some futuristic looking things in the 50s. They had that kind of vibe with the aesthetics of different things. So I didn't think too much about it. And then as it's ending, I'm like, son of a bitch. I should have known they weren't on Earth.
You know what's really cool about that?
But it was really cool that I didn't know they were on Earth. They added to the episode for me.
You know what's really cool about that episode too? I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but then when obviously I was so young. I mean, even as an adult, young adult, when I started watching them again, I didn't really notice. But now it's very prevalent. And man, I wish I could remember who directed that one. It's going to bug me.
Which episode was it?
Third from the Sun.
Third from the Sun.
I don't remember.
I'll let you know in a second. But you keep talking while I'm looking.
But if you watch that, there's a lot of really odd angles, and there's never really dead on camera shots. Everything's from a different angle, and it gives it kind of a claustrophobic feel. And
one of the higher rated episodes, 8-1.
Good. It should be. And nobody ever talks.
The director lived to be 101. Is Richard Bear.
Richard L. Bear. Yeah.
Richard L. Bear, if you want to get technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He directed a few of these. Yeah, very well done on his part. Very good decision to have those really odd camera angles. Like if you watch this one again, look at the camera angles, man. Everything is shot. Nothing is like this. Everything is like this, or like this, or like this. It's all perspective.
Yeah.
And it gives it a really, really kind of suspenseful vibe.
For sure. Yeah, I like that one a lot. That was one of the ones I liked better too. Well, so what are you on? You're in your top 10 now, right?
Yep, cracking the top 10.
All right.
And at number 10 is Long Live Walter Jameson.
And that's one of the ones I didn't see.
Bummer, man. This one stars Kevin McCarthy, who's famous from Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Right.
And
the 50s Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Oh, the OG, okay. Yeah. And this one is one of the few Twilight Zones that you could say is really a horror theme episode.
Right, and since you brought that up, I was going to bring that up. This is most of these fall under the horror adjacent thing that we talk about sometimes. Some of them really are horror, but a lot of them are more weird than horror. Which kind of just it's going to be brought up when we finally do that what is horror episode.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's some episodes of this series that are straight horror, but they come later. Nothing in season 1 really.
I think there was one that was kind of scary.
There's one particular season 4 episode that is just a straight horror show. But we'll get down that road eventually. But I won't talk too much about it since you haven't seen it yet. Mm-hmm. I urge you to watch it. It's fantastic. It's one I can just casually watch anytime. It's very dialogue driven. But it's very, man, I can't remember the other actor's name, that the old man, the father of the woman that Kevin McCarthy's character wants to marry. The one that unearths his secret or whatever. But yeah, that guy is fantastic too. Just their whole dialogue between each other is like Oscar worthy, Emmy worthy.
Are we talking about Edgar Stahel?
That's absolutely right.
Right on. And for those of you watching, if you guys want to revisit any of these episodes, they're all on the whole series is on Paramount Plus.
It's on Prime.
I've been watching it too. It's on Prime as well. Okay.
Yeah. If you're willing to watch like a 30-second commercial, they're all on Amazon Prime Video for free.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give a damn about commercials. I watch a commercial or two.
So we'll go to 9 now, since you haven't seen that one. I don't want to delve too much into it. Number 9, I also think I have kind of low compared to a lot of other people, and that's And When the Sky Was Opened.
Okay. I know I seen that one. What was refresh my memory? Okay, I got it. I like this one too.
Yeah. This one has this one has like a Christopher Nolan Inception-y kind of vibe.
For sure it does.
Totally.
Yes.
And this obviously came out, 50 some years before that. So.
And I noticed that, and in the notes that I was trying to make, but do you think that this movie was inspired by this, and different things like that? And yeah, absolutely, I could see a lot of these modern actors, directors, especially directors and filmmakers. Not even modern, because this goes 65 years back. You could find stuff from the 70s, 80s that was all inspired by these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Chris Nolan's a great comparison for that one.
Sure. It has that whole that bar scene.
They did it better though. They did it better than Nolan. Inception gets a little. He paints himself in a corner sometimes, and it gets a little convoluted. Or I don't know if that's the right word, but
that scene though in the bar with the two guys.
Yeah,
so fucking good,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
When the glass just, man, like I don't think mainstream like America was ready for that on TV. I really don't. It's very forward thinking, and I don't know. It takes a lot to really get it. I don't think that one was a huge hit at the time, but I think now, like in modern times,
for sure,
it's just a work of art. but again, not one of my absolute favorites, but deserves to be mentioned.
Right on.
So let's go up to 8.
Number 8.
8 is man, most people like it, but I've heard some people that don't. But I love it. It's Perchance to Dream.
I was just looking at that one. That one I'd have at about 8.
I love
your ratings aren't much different than what mine would be.
Oh, I absolutely love this one, man. Just the whole, and I've been, not anytime lately. I work too hard. I sleep. Just in my younger years, I had insomnia real bad, and there was times I was up for 2-3 days at a time.
The sheer terror that this guy was going through, like you could everything, all the emotions from all these actors in this series, I mean, they really came across, man. It didn't seem like none of it was like overacted. Like you believed everything.
Yeah.
And it still holds up today. It's amazing.
Just imagine that you haven't slept in 3 days and I'm going to make you ride a roller coaster. My heart can't take it.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Good stuff.
It was basically, and it was like a 2-pronged thing too. He had the whole interplay with the doctor and then his dream world explaining these dreams, and we actually see it visually played out.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the twist at the end with his secretary being Maya. Pretty fucking cool. Spoiler alert, the shit's 65 years old, so I don't care.
Yeah, 65 years old. We're allowed to give spoilers.
Sure. Too soon?
Speaking of that, next week we're going to be at that world premiere of Eddie Langle's movie, The Melonheads. So we're going to have a taped episode that hopefully airs the way it's supposed to. I got it set up to just debut. But me and my daughter went to see Lisa Frankenstein. And if you're a fan of Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, things like that, it's a lot like that. And she really had a great time with it.
So very Tim Burton-y.
Very Tim Burton-y. And I liked it a lot. But in that episode, man, if you haven't seen it, don't watch. Skip next week, because I'm not good at doing these things. I wasn't by myself. I had my daughter with me, and I just started describing the whole movie. And yeah, there's a lot of spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch it. If you have, watch it, because my 11-year-old daughter did the show with me. She might entertain you. I don't know. It might be fun. But there was a couple things in the movie. I'm gonna, sidebar real quick. They hold up a douche. She says to me, "What's a douche?" I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't know what else to say. Then there's another scene, and we're the only ones in the theater, and I'm commenting back and forth with Nina Yarrington from Bloody Essentials. She was commenting on my post where I seen it, so I wasn't being a dick and just commenting with my phone out in the middle of the theater. We were the only ones there, so it didn't matter. What a douche. So there's another scene where they pull out one of those vibrator deals, the massagers, and I was texting her about the douche thing, and I was like, oh man, and she was like, there's gonna be some things that she might not get, and then they pull out the back massager, and I'm like, oh, she goes, what's this, the creature, and she goes, oh, that's a back massager, and I'm like, oh, it's a good thing they didn't get too much into what that was, right? A couple minutes later, they're in bed, and she's using it like a back massager, and then she goes, well, there's other things you can use this thing for. And I'm like, oh, I spoke too soon. So I just started distracting her, like throwing my hair in her face. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then by then it was over. But yeah, it's some conversations I didn't want to have with my 11-year-old daughter. So I just avoided them like the responsible parent I am.
Sounds awful.
Movie was good though, and she liked it.
Not
just
the movie,
those couple scenes.
The situation.
Oh God, no! It's so much easier with boys. I got a bunch of boys. I only have the one girl, so the boys are so much easier to deal with. Believe me. So we're on back to the topic at hand. I just thought that'd be a funny story to share with you guys. But number 7, right?
Yeah. Number 7 is The Lonely.
The Lonely.
Yeah.
That was episode 2, was it?
That was episode 7 as well.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
The Lonely,
starring other one with Jack Warden.
This is the one on the other planet. The other planet was jail.
He's basically on an asteroid. It's an asteroid.
Yeah, where they ship criminals.
Solitary confinement.
Yeah, and then they're trying to get him. They're trying to get him a pardon.
Pardon.
Yeah, and then they ship him the girl, and he falls in love with the android, and then he doesn't want to leave, and they has to leave. Hey, we got you this part, but we can't put this much weight on the plane.
Right.
Yeah, that one was good. I like that one a lot.
This is one. A lot of people do like this one. I like it a lot. This is one I think that would actually benefit if it was a season 4 episode and was an hour long instead of 30 minutes.
Oh, so they get up to an hour.
Yeah, season 4 hour long. It's only season 4.
All right.
They switched formats and then they went back to half an hour for 5.
Cool.
This one, I think, would have benefited. For their relationship would have grown more.
What's up, Zig? Zig's in the comments, having a smoke, checking out the whole damn enchilada. We appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, I really do think it would have benefited from a longer runtime, just to build up their relationship more. Because it's like as soon as she's there, pretty much they got to wrap it up. But I do really like this one, man.
Right.
And did you recognize who Adams was in this?
No.
There's
only one actor that I recognized from more modern stuff, and we're gonna get to him. But he has little. They all look so different. Then, like if I didn't know that was Burgess Meredith, I might not even have caught that. You know, he looks so different.
The voice, though, man.
But who was it?
Oh, Adams. And he's not the main guy that comes.
I know. I think I know who you're talking about. But
he's the one that's antagonizing Corey.
Yeah.
That is Mr. Ted Knight.
Who's Ted Knight? Why do
Judge Smales from Caddyshack, dude.
Get the hell out of here! Nice. Mm-hmm. Oh wow! I didn't
too close for motherfucking comfort. Ted Knight.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling we're gonna find many, many, many people. That you're like, oh, that's so and so. And the other guy that I did recognize, I recognized him because of his voice. Mm-hmm. But well, we'll just I don't know where it is on your list, but he was in the episode that Karen brought up, and he was from Dirty Dancing. That's yeah.
Oh, we're gonna talk.
Yeah, I know we are. I guarantee that's in your top 7. Well, we're waiting. Bill says. So number 6. I gotta get some production values. I gotta get little numbers.
That was a nice little Judge Smales reference there too. Yeah. Well, we're waiting. You'll get
Bill,
nothing.
Bill brought it up.
This is my response. You'll get nothing and like it.
There we go.
All right, moving on to number 6, and this one's near and dear to me, man, and I can't believe it's this low. Is The Hitchhiker. The
Hitchhiker, and I got to rewatch that because I was in and out of consciousness, sleeping. I thought I got the most of it, but something's telling me I missed some stuff. So I'm gonna go rewatch it just because of how highly you're speaking of it. Yeah,
Inger Stevens is fantastic. Sad life she lived though, but I love this episode. I originally heard a radio audio play of this before I saw this Twilight Zone episode. So this actually has source material that predates the show. Mm-hmm. This was a famous radio play.
Okay.
That was adapted into, an episode of the show. And I thought they did it extremely well.
Cool. From the old radio serials they used to do back in the day, before TV.
Yep.
Nice.
So you don't remember much about this one?
Not enough to really. Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch it. I remember she kept seeing the guy and moving on, but what the apex of the plot, is that what that's called? There's I didn't get to that part. I think I missed that. So
yeah.
I will revisit that one.
All right, I won't dive too deep then, but I believe you're going my way. Oh, and that music cue too. Oh man, and that's what I haven't really talked about the music yet.
No,
my goodness, we'll save that.
Oh, and you know what? I did have something to say about that. There was, I seen somewhere that the guy that did the Psycho music did some of this stuff.
Bernard Herrmann.
There you go. And that was another thing on my. I had a couple things written down that I wanted to bring up. that was one of them. And then the episode that didn't happen. And then I would have had a bunch of stuff, but I couldn't get to it, man. I tried like hell.
Bernard Herrmann is the single greatest TV/movie composer of all time.
Right. Cool.
Number one, and it's not close. Although Jerry Goldsmith was goddamn good too, and he did some music on this show as well. So, hey, Sailor. That Adam Williams that played the sailor in that, I think.
All right. I don't know, but I can find out.
I think that was his name, and I know him from a couple of things. But
yeah.
My feet feel like two hot bricks.
It was.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Right.
So that's number 5. Let's move on. Or no, that was 6.
That was 6. Now we're into the top 5.
Now we're into the top 5. Now, like, if I didn't cheat, this would have been the list.
This is Ryan's top 5 gimmick.
Yeah, here we go. And then, like I said, that one's near and dear to me. I like it a lot, but these 5 I do like more. And now we're at all-time classic level episodes.
Right on. And you haven't said a lot of the ones I would have in my top 5. So I think our lists are going to be almost identical, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
number 5 for me, my 5th.
We're going to have different favorites. I know that.
Yeah. Oh, I know we will too.
Yeah.
My 5th favorite episode of season 1 is going to be the After Hours.
The After Hours. Now, is that one that I missed? Yeah. That's after Mr. Beavis.
Absolute fucking classic, man.
That's one of the higher rated ones again, 8.4.
Yeah, Anne Francis, amazing. Everybody knows her from something.
From something.
Yeah. Oh,
see if I know her from something.
She's been in a million billion things.
Fantasy Island in 1999. Yeah. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Drew Carey show.
She's older than now.
Yeah. The new Conan the Conan. Is it Conan the Barbarian? It says 1997. That can't be right. Conan the Adventurer. It was a TV show. So a lot of TV. She did a lot of TV.
Yeah, especially later on. Back in the day, she was a star in the 60s.
Yeah.
But no, this is an all-time classic, and that's pretty much universally accepted as such.
yeah. It's a very high rating.
It does, and it should probably be a little higher, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't delve again too much because you haven't seen it, and it's one you absolutely must see. Put this at the top of the list.
I'll probably watch it right after this show.
You should. You really should.
Well, actually, after this show, I'm gonna jump over to the dive for a little bit. He's gonna do The Crow tonight. And, Ryan's gone.
I love The Crow.
All right. What's that?
I love The Crow.
Oh, I do too. And I love Charles Sherrod, the way he does movies. He'll have the movie playing, and he'll have his square a little bit smaller, and he'll talk about the movie. And you could still. It's just like if me and you were sitting here watching the movie, which is pretty cool. It doesn't interfere with watching the movie, and you find out some pretty cool stuff. Mm-hmm. Hey, JP finally showed up. He's usually the first guy to comment. And then also afterwards, he's doing Falling Down on his show.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I actually just watched a little bit of that not too long ago.
Yeah, although I'll probably listen to his thing in the morning when I'm at work. And,
coincidentally, The Crow was written by David J. Shaw, who wrote The Outer Limits Companion.
Nice.
And that is, like, to me anyway, the little brother show of this show.
Yeah. We're going to get into that for sure.
Oh, we're going to do those eventually because I love those almost as much as I love this series. Almost. Those have grown on me more over time, to be honest with you. So.
And Charles says he's got some news on the reboot tonight as well.
Nice.
So, but yeah, like I said, it's really cool watching movies with Charles. It really works. I don't know if you've done any of the episodes, but yeah, he'll talk about the movie. The movie will be playing. You'll sit there and you'll watch the movie. And it's just like sitting with one of your buddies watching a movie, and then you can comment back and forth like we're doing now. It's really cool.
All right. Well, let's get on to number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think this one used to be a little higher for me, but it's still way up there.
All right.
Anything above the After Hours is high, and that's going to be A Stop at Willoughby.
It's another one I didn't see.
Wow.
Yeah, I missed 6 of them, and there was
You
like 2
missed
or 3
some
of your best.
bangers.
So 2 of the best ones and 2 of the worst ones I miss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one too. Very, very, very influential to me, and for my band's first song on our first album, first sample was from this episode.
And that's the song I was going to use.
Bleeding Anxiety.
Yeah.
I
wanted to get our friend Jared from Halloween Haunts 365 and the Horseshead podcast to throw together a little something with a couple Twilight Zone clips and then that music, and I was going to surprise you with it, but I didn't get a chance to. It would have been cool though.
Also used a clip. Well, I didn't mention it when we talked about Long Live Walter Jameson. That's actually the outro on the album.
Right.
The very last sample you hear.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure because I didn't see that episode. I wasn't sure. I knew it was from the Twilight Zone, that sample, but I didn't know it was from this season. So I was like, maybe I don't want to do that until I know it's from. I'll use it in the season that it's from. But I guess it was this one.
Well, there were 6 samples on the album, and 3 of them came from season 1.
Right.
So that should tell you something right there that we're big on season 1.
Yeah, and you guys could check out that music on YouTube, Dislim. Check it out. It's death metal if you're into that kind of thing. It's pretty brutal, but it's pretty cool too. Especially Bleeding Anxiety. I like that song.
I really want to talk about this episode, man, but you haven't seen it. That sucks.
I'll forget.
No,
I mean, you don't think I will? Okay, because yeah. Lately, I got the memory of an elephant, but it's the elephant from the Jungle Book.
No.
If you remember the Jungle Book.
Okay. Since we're gonna delve into the top 3 now, I'll drink my 3rd beer.
Number 3,
and some people might think this is sacrilege to have this low, but it's time enough at last.
Most people think it was the highest rated episode, tied with the one where you talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And I liked it, but it wasn't. I'd have it even lower than 3. I'd have that one 5, 6, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's on there.
Oh yeah. And but one thing I have to say about it is just how good Burgess Meredith's acting was in it. I mean, it was just unbelievable because I don't know him from anything but Rocky. I just really, you know what I mean?
I just wanted to know who she voted for.
Yeah, that one was really, really good. I felt so bad for him. Like, he finally came to terms with everything that was going on. It's like, well, at least I could finally just relax and just read. I got all these books, and drops the goddamn glasses.
It's heartbreaking. That has been paid tribute to so many times and so many other things. Like that ending, the broken glasses trope. That's like a trope now because of this show.
Nice.
Like, it just Simpsons did it, Family Guy did it, so many things have did it. Like,
yeah, and see, since I never seen this, that was just lost on me. Yeah, that one was really good. So we might have the same number 1 because it ain't came up yet.
We don't.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Time Enough at Last. Also, Rod Serling's favorite episode that he ever wrote.
Nice.
And everybody, if you've watched the Twilight Zone, you've seen that one. It was actually, I don't know if it was the first one I ever watched, but it's the first one I remember watching.
Okay.
With my dad.
When I used to watch these when I was a kid, I had a friend that lived down the street, and we used to stay up all night. Like, we went to probably 2nd or 3rd grade, so what's that make us, about 7, 8 years old? And they would come on channel 43 or channel 19. It's like right before the TV went off the air. Yeah. And he was really, really into it. And I just kind of watched it because I was at his house, But I appreciate it a lot more now. That's for sure. But yeah, so I even though I watched probably most of these, I didn't really remember them or pay attention to them.
And this is like, this show aired during like the beginning really of the Cold War.
Yeah.
So even just the thought of like the bomb wasn't too far-fetched for people back then to buy into like this. Oh, this could happen,
Well, it wasn't too far removed from the actual bomb that they dropped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're talking about
15 years
42?
later,
Yeah.
45.
45? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, 1945. Then they dropped the A-bombs.
Yeah. So that was number 3. Number 2, spoiler alert, since it's not my favorite, I know what it is because 2 is going to be my favorite.
Yeah.
We have a different favorite. And it was the one that Karen brought up.
Yes, it is. It's going to be The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street.
And as I said before we went on air, I said you probably could figure out which one my favorite was because it reminded me of The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just the paranoia amongst all of them, like, hey, that guy's the guy that's screwing, and everything. So it definitely had The Thing vibes, which I would say maybe Carpenter got some ideas from this, but the movie that he actually remade was before this, wasn't it?
Yeah, Carpenter's a huge Twilight Zone fan, though.
Yeah, so he might have took some little ideas here and there. But yeah, that one I really a true social case study. Kieran says, yeah, that one I really, really, really liked. And I think I skipped ahead to make sure I seen that one because something caught my eye on it.
It's more socially relevant now than then, even.
Oh, absolutely.
It's kind of like how They Live. Again, going back to Carpenter, it's even more relevant now than when he made it.
And the one guy, the first guy that I think the guy that shot the guy that was coming that went to town over to see if all their shit was fucked up.
Jack Weston.
He was in Dirty Dancing, and he was in Short Circuit 2.
Jack Weston, yes.
Yeah. Well, he's the only actor that I recognize from something else.
Claude Rains, the lead too. He was a big star back then. The big get for TV. Like
I recognized him, but I don't know from what.
He's been in a million things, man. Like like a lot of these actors in this show were huge gets for like TV shows. Like big actors were like film actors back then.
It probably had like a Quentin Tarantino thing where these guys just wanted to work with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this was definitely my favorite.
Great ensemble cast. Very, very suspenseful.
Absolutely.
Almost played up like a Hitchcock show.
Yeah.
And again, the divide and conquer thing. And of course, we have the little bit with the aliens at the end.
Yeah.
But it honestly isn't even necessary.
No, it wasn't necessary at all.
I think if there were no aliens at all, it would have even been a little bit better. Yeah.
Well, they just say they just wanted to really drill in and hammer home the point, like how easy this is.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And the thing is, they weren't even really going for aliens. Were just a stand-in, honestly, for communist sympathizers.
Yeah.
Really, just because everybody's like, kill all communists back then, and Rod Serling's like, no.
Right?
And let's not do that.
I never understood, and maybe I'm gonna get some hate for this. I don't know, but the hate for communism and communists. I mean, I think it's okay to not agree with it, but I mean, is it really that bad of a thing? I mean, I think we're just got that drilled into our heads so much from our government that no, communism is horrible, and anybody that's a communist is evil, and they're gonna blow up your house. And I never saw it that way. They just want to commune together, and we're all going to share off the same things. And I always thought that was the idea of socialism, and not necessarily that it's the worst idea in the world. Just I mean, I don't think it's something to fight over,
No,
but
I'll tell you why people are conditioned to hate it so much, because people that are filthy rich and don't want to
give up any of what they got. Yeah,
have paid to make it look bad and promoted that idea.
Rob Dow finally shows up at the end of the show. We're getting towards the end of the show. We almost nailed this thing at an hour. By the way, we got 5 minutes left, and we're on number 1.
Yeah, but there's more to talk about, though.
Right? Well, we can keep going.
And here's the thing too with that. Look no further than the most recent presidential election at divide and conquer.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like 10, 15 years ago, if you were a Republican and I was a Democrat, we didn't want to kill each other. We just shared slightly different political opinions, and our opinions were still our own. Whereas nowadays, if you're a Republican, you're going to spew whatever the Republicans tell you to spew, and the Democrats, and nobody really has their own opinions. But I hate you because I have an R in front of my name and you have a D in front of your name.
Yep. It's like back then, like you're saying, you could still be friends and whatever. Now, these fucking news and both sides are guilty of it. They're saying the other side is your enemy.
Yeah, I mean, you ever see where somebody will go around and they'll go up to a bunch of Republicans or a bunch of Democrats, depending on the person doing the take, and they'll read a bunch of stuff and say, "Can you believe Joe Biden said this? Can you believe it?" Well, it wasn't Joe Biden when I seen it because it was like the last election, but and it'll actually be really stuff that Trump said, or if they're talking to Democrats, it'll be stuff that Joe Biden said, and they'll just go, yeah, I can't believe it. Oh, this guy is like, by the way, your guy actually said that.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how little we really care about what's really going on.
Oh, well, in that case, it was just taken out of context.
Exactly. And it's amazing to me because you don't believe, but most of these people don't even believe that the stuff that their party is talking about. They're so Republican or Democrat that it boggles my mind.
And I know we don't talk about politics on this show. We don't.
Yeah.
This is like the one time I will, whether you're Democrat or Republican or vote for one or the other. I'm just here's a big spoiler. Neither one of them give a flying fuck about you.
Yeah.
Neither one of them.
And it's been that way for me. It's been that way in the last few elections. I have not voted for a guy, and I don't know how long. I voted against the other guy.
Yeah,
whoever that might be.
It's sad that we have to do that.
Yeah, I'd love to have a guy that you wanted to do something, and even if that guy did want to do something, by the time he got into office, all the other people in office that are getting all his billions of dollars aren't going to want him to do whatever he was going to do anyway.
Of course not.
So it just is what it is, and there's no reason to hate each other over it because we're not doing nothing about it.
But that's why Monsters Are Due on Maple Street is just so relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. You don't even need this otherworldly enemy. There's enough enemies right here on Earth.
Absolutely.
According to the media.
Yeah. But it's the wrong enemy.
Yeah.
They keep us fighting and hating each other because they're the real enemy, and they don't want us to figure that out.
So that was my number 2, and a lot of people have that at 1. You're one of them, and I can see why.
And mostly because it reminded me of the Thing so much.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Here's another spoiler alert. Not really spoiler. Again, just a little Easter egg, more like
what
it.
Is your number 1?
Yeah,
I know. But I'm just saying I should know it by now. But go ahead.
The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street had a clip in it that we were going to use on the next Slim album that never came out.
Okay, cool.
The clip where he goes, "You're scared, frightened rabbits, you're sick people, you know that?" We were going to use that little clip.
So, yeah, there's a couple. After your number 1, I guess I'm going to have to bring up a couple because there's three more that I like a whole lot that you haven't brought up.
Well,
so it can't be.
I guess I'll give my number 1.
Okay, and what was number 1 for you?
It is absolutely, without a doubt, Walking Distance.
Walking Distance. Yes. I know. This was the best. If this is the one I'm thinking of, where the guy goes back in time and he's in his old neighborhood.
Yes.
Okay. 100% the best written episode, the best acted episode. There were ones that I liked better because of the content, and but this was the best made one by far.
And I think it has a very, very not as an important of a message as Monsters Do on Maple Street, but still a very powerful one.
Yes.
And there's so many great scenes in this. Like every scene is just so good.
Yes.
But the scene towards the end when he goes to his old house and actually in his adult form and speaks to his father,
right,
is just so fucking heart-wrenching.
Right. Because in his time, his father had been dead for a while, right?
Sure.
Yes.
And he they're both men now, and even though he's a grown man, his father's still giving him this sage advice, like you don't belong here. But it's true, you know. You can never go home, you know, and it's sad, man, because I'm a very sentimental person, and I always was, even when I was young, I was, and I've always liked this episode, but now especially that we're right about the age he was in the episode.
Right.
This really hits home.
And right on. Yeah, that one was again. I think that one was the best made one, the best acted one, the best shot one, and
that's
one of my favorites.
He gets my best actor of the season is Gig Young, who plays the lead in this. He gets it for me for this one. It's just so good. And the thing too, like about this, like a lot of people don't pick up on this. You know, you see him at the beginning walking around and he's just fine, like when he's walking to, you know, his old neighborhood. But then at the end, when he goes back home, he's limping. And remember, when he goes back, his little kid version of himself injures his leg on the carousel.
Yeah.
And he's selling the leg.
Yep.
Like he really changed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because he was really back then.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a couple that you didn't bring up.
Okay.
And that I really liked, and I think that these three were more on the horror side. You know, Escape Clause.
It's cute, you know, but I don't think it's quality. It's just cool.
It's a very cool story. Like, again, like I like the content of this one better than the one that you had as number one. But no, it's not as nearly as good produced and everything like that. It was just a very clever story. You know, you had the devil there, and you know, a little bit more horror aspect.
Cadwallader.
Then there was also there was another one. I liked One for the Angels. Is the second one.
Little too sugary for me, but
yeah,
it's solid.
And the third one was we talked about it a little bit. What you need.
I like that one a lot.
What you need, and that one was really cool because you really was rooting against it. That guy, like, he's just trying to do nice things for people, and this guy's trying to take advantage of him. Man, how happy were you when that guy got hit by a car? You know?
And, yeah, one thing too about that, you know, even though he was like the bad guy in the episode, and he gets wiped out at the end, the guy that hits him doesn't hit and run. He don't stop. He keeps going. How does he know that he hit a bad guy?
And the guy that there was had the cigarette box and was selling the stuff.
Padat.
Yeah, he was really good in it. Like you really believed that this guy had some kind of a supernatural, spiritual power to him. You know, like just the way he acted that. And I like that one a lot. I don't know. Neither one of them would be my favorite, but they were all that I really liked.
I love that one though. I do, and it almost made the top 30. Like that would be 14, 15 at the lowest. That one was right there, and I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people don't really talk about that one.
Yeah, that one was really, really cool.
Yeah, another little Easter egg on there, and she's in another one in season 2. But the dark-haired girl at the bar that is played by, she went by Arlene Sachs back then. She changed her name to Arlene Martell later, and she was Spock's wife on Star Trek.
Oh, nice.
And also super fucking cute. So, yeah, and she was in Outer Limits as well. We'll talk, and one of the very best ones of those.
Right on.
But yeah, there's one we never brought up yet that it feels kind of weird, and I couldn't believe it didn't make my top 13, but it's very important, and that's Where Is Everybody? The pilot.
Okay. Oh yeah, that one was really cool because that had a vibe of let's see real quick. Karen says, "What about the bomb shelter? Didn't you guys like that one? Was that a season 1 episode? No. That's why we didn't bring it up, Karen. It's not a season 1 episode. We're gonna do 2, 3, 4, however many seasons there are. So 4 or 5. 5. As I watch them, what we'll do is I'll hit up Ryan, but like we're gonna do a Twilight Zone episode, and he'll just be ready to go. But I'm sorry, the one you said was on the pilot episode, and that one had like some like Castaway. Not it wasn't anything like Castaway, but the fact that they have one actor throughout, and that's
Earl
gotta
Holliman.
be tough.
The great Earl Holliman,
and he was great in that.
And let me tell you something. The biggest star of that one though was Bernard Herrmann. that music in that, and they use cues from that episode through the whole series. They go back to cues from that one. That spot in the movie theater, man. Woo.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was really, really, really good. Really good. Again, I am so glad that that I started watching these, because it's some of the best television I've ever watched in my life.
And you got to think too, that one, like the way that ends and like what he was doing makes sense, because that was exactly 10 years before we landed on the moon.
Oh, right on.
That's when that, how can man handle space travel? Man hadn't really been in space yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it happened very quickly after that.
So, that was obviously it's a pilot episode. So I watched that right after we did the 83 episode. So that's the one where at the end he was in a military base, right? And he was okay, cool. Yeah, I forgot the ending for a second.
and again, too, that just like the episode named The Lonely earlier that we talked about, Serling plays on loneliness like a lot and how it eats at you. Right on. And it's a very tough thing. And I can relate to that too. I grew up an only child. I had a lot of time alone, which now I don't have much anymore, and I actually kind of like cherish the little bit that I get.
Now, see, I had a total. There's a total of 10 of us.
Yeah, I know.
And I was always by myself. I would always want to be by myself. I didn't like any of them. I just wanted to do my own thing. My mom used to say she would forget I was even in the house, because I'd just be quiet by myself, and I liked being by myself. But having 9 brothers and sisters, I didn't get to be by myself a whole lot.
Not much, yeah.
But
isn't it fucking sweet though? Like when you can just go out on your own and like do something.
Right on. Thanks, Karen. Yeah, definitely. Karen says she's impressed with your personal insights.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Like again, this is just a labor of love what we're doing here, and especially with this one. And I really been digging it. Like of course, Michaela, she catches a couple episodes with me, and this is kind of up her alley. Yeah, that she likes.
Seems like it would be.
Yeah, things where you got to think a little bit and you got to know what's going on, and she's good with that. And so I really, really dug it. And I got about 4 or 5 more episodes to officially complete season 1. I thought I would be done before we got to this point, but I've just been so busy.
Good news for you. When you get to season 2, it's only 29 episodes, not 36.
That'll make it a little easier.
Season 3, though, has 37.
So, I don't know if anybody in the comments is still here noticed, but I was actually commenting on a post on the Dives page. A guy posted a picture, says, "Oh, look at this picture I took for this movie." And oh yeah, man, I love that movie. And then he ends up like, "Oh, thanks." And then I realized, why would you thank me for you posting a picture of the movie? I was like, wait a second, this guy's in the fucking movie. So then I started, how do we know this shit? She says, I don't know. I don't know this shit. I'm just finding this shit out. That's the guy that knows everything. But so I start messaging back and forth with them. I'm like, the movie Destroy All Neighbors, which is on Shudder. It's a fantastic movie. It's got Alex Winter from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and The Lost Boys, and he's in the film. You won't be able to tell he's in the film because it's a great makeup job on everybody in the movie. It's a very fun ride. It's not serious at all, just insanity. And I'm talking to the guy. He said he would like to come on the show. Great, cool. And so excited to have him on. So we're Christian. Oh God, forgive me. I can't remember his last name, but it's in the ticker. It's running at the bottom. Christian something with a C. And he's going to be on the show on March 7th, which is 2 weeks from today. Next week, we won't be doing a live show. We'll have the tape show. And then the week after that, we're going to have R.G. Henning on the you better get over to Charles. Yeah, no doubt, Karen. We're going to be over there in a little bit, too. We're going to wrap this up and jump over there and watch The Crow with them. But so R.G. Henning's going to be on the show March 14th. He was the author of this book, Sackhead.
Hell yeah.
Very good book. I mean, he really went into detail. Anything you want to know, you could just open this book. It's kind of like the Bible where you could just open to anything and just start reading. So, and you don't need to read it from start to That's what I meant by like the Bible. You don't need to read it start to finish. It's probably got more truth in it than the Bible, but that's a whole other subject. But he wrote another book, Jason 3D, and he'll be on to talk about that as well. So that's March 14th. So we got some good stuff coming up. Stay tuned. I guess we're going to wrap this up. Did you have something else you wanted to bring up here? Or?
I mean, we did a pretty good cut. You know, we talked about at least half the episodes. So that's
more
cool.
than that, because your list was 18, which was half.
Yeah.
I brought up 3 others, so we're up to 21.
Yeah, it's definitely pound for pound, probably the best season.
And usually that's the case with a TV show. You know,
I think season 2 has some episodes in it I like better than any episodes in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it's probably not as heavy. But again, there's less episodes in it. But yeah, this, for some people, they'd say this is the best season of the best show of all time. Some people will say that.
Absolutely. I mean, I could definitely see that. I mean, I like it a lot, and I'm really intrigued of what we're going to get into further with this show, and the fact that everybody, if you know, most people aren't going to be a savant like you with this, but everybody's going to have some kind of a connection to the Twilight Zone, so they're going to be able to pop in and bring up some of their favorite episodes, and you know, they might not, like Karen brought up some that were in a different season. That's fine, you know, because you know they don't know it like you, but they're going to enjoy talking about this show, and I think we're going to have some good shows with it.
Yeah.
All right. So on that note, we are going to get the hell out of here. Next week, join us for that movie world premiere if you can. February 29th. If you're in Cleveland, Atlas Cinema in Euclid on Lake Shore. Eddie's going to be there meeting people. He's selling some merch. We're going to be there. Tickets are like $12 or something. Buy a ticket to support people. What's up?
I need a date for that night.
You got to find a date.
Yeah, my girlfriend gets up super early for work, so I'm going to be a solo act that evening.
I don't know, maybe Jasmine will want to go.
Could be. I'll hit her. She works early in the morning too, though.
Yeah, who knows? We'll find somebody.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing that, the tape show, and a couple guests after that. But yeah, so that's it. Twilight Zone, we'll do season 2 soon, and join us for that whenever it happens. Watch the page, share the page, like the page. Horror Shed podcast on Monday. Check that out. I'll be on that, and then check out Charles if you haven't already, and
join Charles Sherrod on the dive for The Crow tonight. And there goes the neighborhood.